Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on BitChute, the name of my BitChute channel is Comic Freak. Today we're going to be talking about how Jon Favreau on Star Wars and The Mandalorian. Through stories, we express our values to the next generation. Basically, this article talks about how Hollywood goes around brainwashing children, or at least they're attempting to. Iron Man director and the creator of Star Wars and Disney's upcoming Disney Plus show, The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau, recently discussed the responsibility Star Wars has. Trying to make it sound like pushing agendas in these movies is actually a good thing for people to learn, and how, in your opinion, people in the world should act like brainwashed zombies. While speaking at Vanity Fair's New Establishment Summit, Favreau talked about his conversations with George Lucas alongside Disney CEO Bob Iger. Others have pointed out that maybe Jon Favreau got the wrong idea when he was talking with George Lucas on how the media he consumed when he was a young boy shaped his life, and Jon Favreau took it as that he should use his media to shape the minds of the young, even forcibly basically agendizing his products to make people think the way he does. But let's get back to what they were talking about in this article. He was asked by Vanity Fair's editor, Rahika Jones, about the pressure of stepping into the world of Star Wars. I bet Jon Favreau's answer was a bunch of spin doctrine, but let's find out what he has to say. Favreau responded with, "I don't feel the pressure except to the audience that's seeing what I'm making, and I feel that pressure every time, and I think, much like the Chiefs I learned from when I was trained to play that role, there's a certain stripe of personality that are attracted to telling stories, which is you want to do something, but the experience isn't complete until the people that eat the meal, watch the show, watch the movie, reacts to it." Favreau elaborated, and then there's something that happens that I really get excited by, which is people coming together to enjoy something together, especially if it's collective experience of enjoying story, a myth, a lesson, or sharing a common experience that everybody enjoys. In the case of Star Wars, I grew up with that. I don't think I would have been a filmmaker had it not been for that film. I definitely wouldn't be a Kurosawa fan or a Western fan if George Lucas hadn't opened the door. I wouldn't understand Joseph Campbell if it wasn't for the power of myth at the Skywalker Ranch. He then added, so understanding that stories for the generation that's coming of age can open doors to people and help guide the values of our culture. If stories are told well, so to me that's the part that I feel. Favreau would then reveal his conversations with George Lucas. He detailed that Lucas believed films could teach generations of people, and specifically noted that Hollywood westerns did so. And this is how we're going to talk about him talking about brainwashing young people. Or it just seems that way coming out of Jon Favreau's mouth. That there are life lessons that are in these stories that carry on the tradition, and speaking to George Lucas, he felt that the Western was the genre that helped teach a generation of people coming of age about the value systems that are espoused by that genre, and that Star Wars, part of that responsibility is remembering that part of your audience is a whole generation that's coming of age, and through stories we express our values to that next generation. And so one of the things he said was not to lose sight of that is this is the main audience for stories. The Lion King director continued, "It's great for us who grew up with it and feel nostalgic, but really you're trying to teach life lessons through the themes and conflicts that arise among these characters." To say this is a shocking revelation would be a lie. The idea that Hollywood elites and executives want to try and dictate the values they believe people watching their movies should embrace has become abundantly clear in recent years. It's not about the story anymore, it's about preaching to their audience. Yeah, that's right. And frankly, I'm surprised this author of this article is being so honest. You can just look at the most recent Star Wars films to see that this is more than likely part of Disney's culture. Solo, a Star Wars story, writer John Kasdan retconned Lando Calrissian and made him pansexual, and highly insinuated in the film that he was engaged in a relationship with droid L337. Ew, that's for sure. And I have to say that I hate they did that to Lando Calrissian, who is my favorite character, well, co-character in Star Wars. Him and Boba Fett. There's also Chewie and the droids. And it hurts to know that are going to put all these characters through the ringer in the 9th installment. There's a fluidity to Darnold and Billy Dee's portrayal of Lando's sexuality. I mean, I would have loved to have gotten more explicitly LGBT character into this movie. I think it's time certainly for that, and I love the fluidity, sort of the spectrum of sexuality that Darnold appeals to and that droids are a part of. He doesn't make any hard and fast rules. I think it's fun. I don't know where it will go. He would then double down on Twitter and fully admit he was injecting identity politics into Star Wars. Sorry to have brought identity gender politics into, nope, not sorry at all, because I think the galaxy George gave birth to in 77 is big enough for everyone. Straight, gay, black, white, and a bunch of other silly names that aren't even real, and this guy just doesn't know anything about Star Wars and just wants to put his identity politics into this movie franchise. This man doesn't understand the concept of escapism in escapist fiction, meaning shut up and let us enjoy our movie, huh? There is also an agenda in Hollywood that wants to replace traditional male characters on screen and replace them with women. Rumors indicate they are doing that with the upcoming James Bond film. The film is rumored to have a new female agent take on the 007 call sign. Other films like the Ghostbusters 2016, Ocean's 8, and even the most recent Men in Black International have replaced male roles with those of women. And those movies have pretty much reeked, every one of them, as I understand it. Only maybe Ocean's 8 had anything going with it, and I'm not so sure about that. If they continue with the agenda-driven politics in the new James Bond film, well, that film is going to fail badly. People came to see James Bond, not a black female 007. Even though the original James Bond is going to be in here, 007 is so, well, important to his character that you're basically just taking away one of his guns. Congratulations, Hollywood, you've ruined yet another franchise. Actors and directors are also actively promoting their films using political terms. Suicide Squad director David Ayer promoted his Netflix film Bright, saying it's woke AF. Actress Kristen Stewart even described her upcoming Charlie's Angels film as woke, she told Variety. God, it's so funny. I know if I say this in a certain way, I know that this will be written down, but it's not such a bad thing. It's kind of like a woke version. And actors and directors aren't just using it to market their films. They're also using films to push values on people. One just has to look at all the marketing surrounding Captain Marvel to see that the MCU was pushing specific values with that film. Brie Larson made it abundantly clear that she has used the film as her form of activism. Favreau's discussion about Star Wars and The Mandalorian does not bode well given the recent track record with Hollywood trying to shove agenda down their audience's throats. And I would argue that it's not Star Wars' responsibility to pass down values to the next generation. And it certainly should not be Hollywood's either. God, I agree with the writer of this article. He goes on, or she goes on, to say that it should be for entertainment purposes only. He also says, what do you make of Favreau's comments? Well, I make of them being that he's just a loud-mouthed leftist jerk who just insists on pushing his agendas down on us. And we have to say, we'll push back, and we'll push you so hard, we'll push you right out of the door, and we'll never watch any of your movies again. So, shut up, Jon Favreau, sit down, or just, well, continue the dance like the dancing monkey you are, because that's all you are, as others have said. These Hollywood types are dancing monkeys. They need to know their bread and butter comes from us, and if we don't like it, we will not see them. I feel like a broken record, but it goes to the truth. Without respect, we reject, and they are not respecting us, especially when they think that they need to hold our hands and tell us how to live. Now, if you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you have not subscribed, please subscribe to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics, They're Bad For You. Then go over to BitChute and subscribe to my BitChute channel, Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications. Hit that like button and leave some comments down below. And could you please share this video, share it on Twitter and share it on Facebook, share it anywhere you think it would do the most good, because YouTube is not going around promoting their YouTube creators anymore, and it would really help me if you could please share this video. It's plug-in time. I'm plugging for my independent comic book again, so keep checking back in future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book, Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with a video or review.